dawn, and in the heartland of the Taliban, Royal Marines are poised for a risky patrol. In their sights, the village of Zumbulay, where Taliban gunmen have roamed freely for months.
That's where you're going to have to head first, and then we'll have to crawl on the ground over.
But as they move in, an ominous sign. The villagers move out. Fear was written all over small faces.
We've got people flooding out of the area quickly to our northeast.
The troops call it a combat indicator. Armed men moving into position in compounds. The Marines enter the village, and for hours they patrol without incident. But the Taliban were waiting for their moment. It came when we and the Marines were in open ground, their gunfire very close. We crawl along the ground, dragging the camera with us. There are 10 of us, exposed to the Taliban fire, the Marines desperately trying to find the firing points.
Where are you?
They see not one but 2 Taliban positions and call us forward into cover.
Hey, come in cover! Crawl!
Taliban grenades fly overhead, but by now their positions are under intense fire.
Back in!
Under covering fire, we reach the wall of a compound and half a dozen Marines.
Next one, mini-me!
They catch glimpses of their attackers and begin firing mortars. Often the Taliban will shoot and scoot. This time they stay put.
Compound with the red scarf on it! Yeah, there!
Well, the Taliban waited about 2 hours before springing their ambush. They're in 2 compounds just over there, and they're using heavy bursts of automatic fire and rocket-propelled grenades, 2 or 3 of which flew over our heads. But as you can see, the Marines here are firing back in kind. The compounds are 150 yards away, but what none of us knew was that the Taliban were in at least 12 other positions. Then the assault on the compounds, Marines running for their lives across the open, killing ground. The Taliban hold their ground and hit back. A second wave of men go in. Now the Taliban are out, retreating along deep irrigation ditches.
Right, the Bravo can see leakers from that building. He's adjusting across to hit them.
Right, it's on fire now.
But we were about to discover that the Taliban weren't finished.
I'm now just following up into those compounds to clear them to see if the Taliban are still there.
But it's not over yet.
It's not over yet, but, you know, these things, you know, we're not trying to clear the whole way through this village. Oh, it was quite close.
It was close. A rocket fired from long range. By now, the Taliban were using 6 kinds of weapons, like the Marines.
Old ammo liner.
In Zumbulay's compounds, they find ammunition boxes, unused weapons, but little else. The Taliban had pulled back, taking their guns, grenades and mortars with them. But they were radioing for reinforcements. After a firefight that had lasted 2 hours, the troops began to withdraw.
The problem for the Marines is there was only one way into this village, and there's only one way out, and this is it.
We left passing the poppy fields that provide the world with most of its heroin, poppies and trenches, and the sound of artillery shells whizzing overhead. It could be Flanders in World War I, but here there were no British casualties.
We assaulted the compound successfully, killed at least 4 enemy Taliban with weapons.
That's confirmed.
Confirmed, we saw them there dead. So a very successful day. Seized 2 weapons and killed 4 enemy.
But the battle had raged across 2 miles. A dozen Taliban were dead, twice that number fled. So, on one morning, in one village, Marines had confronted their enemy and won. But the Taliban will be back. They are playing the long game on their ground, and they are many. and there are many villages, hundreds, and a long war ahead. Bill Neely, ITV News, Zumbale.